you're a victim, you're a survivor, or you were a victim, now you're a survivor. Now go file a claim for it. And if you're going to prove a military sexual trauma claim, stuff about this. What are some good examples of, or what kind of stuff do you need? Because for the combat PTSD, you need to have the symptoms, you need to have the diagnosis. The initial comes from the VA, and the nexus is on your DD 214 that says you're in a combat situation. So, how do those three things play out in military sexual trauma? Because you were rating them and stuff.
Right. Well, before we get to the MST component, also keep in mind if you have like a combat action badge, combat action ribbon, that actually concedes the stressor. So you wouldn't necessarily have to have that in your records that you were shot or you were involved with a TBI or anything like that. The fact that you have the combat action badge, combat action ribbon, things of those natures, that actually concedes it. So, that's a positive as far as, conceding that as well. But over on the MST side, that deals more with markers because, and I'll get to the markers in a second, but because it's so underreported and not documented for various reasons that if you want to go into it, we can go into it. But I mean, it's a very underdocumented, because it's so personal. It's a personal violation, whether that be sexual harassment's considered can be considered under MST. Assault. It all falls under that same MST umbrella, but they're more so looking for markers just because it's underreported. So if you went in for an STD test, you wouldn't have to report somebody was a victim of a rape or something. You go in for a random, STD test after an incident, after the incident happened. That would be considered a marker. So what they do is they review both your, or you have bad performance after an incident. So you're a 4.0 soldier, sailor, or whatever, and now your marks are like in the 3.0, 2.0. So it shows a downward kind of decline in your performance. You're asking for transfers, things of that nature. Those are what's called markers, and that's what the examiner is looking at when they offer the opinion. They're looking at the evidence of record, obviously things that are documented, as well as markers to make a determination on whether the claimed event is least as likely as not due to their military service.
Speaking of markers, after Desert Storm happened and I had my stressor, that it was one marker that was the getting kicked out. I just was unsavable, like something definitely, I wasn't like, class A, always failed my white glove inspections and stuff, but, I was solid, and then I became unsolid and got kicked out, general discharge and stuff. So that kind of, that kind of paper trail is there. What's that?
That is definitely an example of a marker. A downgraded
exactly.
to general, that's definitely a marker for sure.
And just, like me going through that, the way it affected me, whatever, I'm a pussy. I didn't know I was such a pussy. Shouldn't have joined the military. Hindsight's good for things like that. So PTSD, mental health conditions, they show up in different ways. Marker is one way to do it. Looking through your medical records, because that's what you guys are doing, right? You guys are looking through those, so it would be helpful. Again, this is your VA claims file. Look through your stuff to see what's in there that will be positive and or negative for your claim, right?
Let me be clear on one thing. Markers are only related to MST due to PTSD due to MST. It's not non-combat related PTSD like you witnessed a car accident and you got PTSD. That's no bueno. It's only the markers are only due to MST. The markers aren't considered in any other form of PTSD other than MST. That is a very clear.
So I guess okay, yeah, that's a good point. So like And I didn't even really think it was useful for the claim, but like in my case, since like that was a marker, that would have to me explaining that to a doctor, and then a doctor taking those words and then fitting them appropriately into the DBQ, which I guess really wouldn't be about the marker. It'd be more about the current symptoms, right? Social and occupational impairment.
Right. Well, the current symptoms are gonna like, and if we want to pull up a copy,
no, I got you. I got you. The markers are kind of in the past to build it up. Yeah, I don't know. I understand. I hope everybody else does. If you want to elaborate, please do. I think you already did.
Yeah. I think we're fine.
Let me jump in here real quick and tell you about my boot camp. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. You can talk to me live. There's a link on the website and in the description, combatcraig.com. And also, if you need medical evidence like a nexus or documenting your symptoms properly, go to our website, combatcraig.com, and it says medteam/nexus letters. Click on that link, fill out the form. Boom, you're done.